Hi and welcome to Sana Simple Baking. Today we'll be making a Swedish princess cake, or Prinsesstårta as we say in Swedish. Let's start baking. Today we will use these ingredients. My sponge cake base I bought already made from the food store, so I only had to cut it in 3 pieces. And these are our baking tools. We will start with the marzipan cover. I made my own with regular marzipan from the food store and mixed with blue and yellow caramel color to make it green. But if you live in Sweden, you can buy one already made at a local food store. Put some powdered sugar on the table so the marzipan doesn't get stuck. Put the marzipan dough on the table and flatten it out a bit with your hands. And then start using the rolling pin. Cover the rolling pin lightly with some powdered sugar so it doesn't get stuck to the dough. The marzipan needs to be soft when you work on it. After a while, I put the marzipan between 2 baking papers. It will make it easier to move when we want to put it over the cake. When you use the rolling pin, push it down in the middle of the marzipan. It will make it a bit easier to make it more wide. This is how it looks when it is all done. I left it in the fridge while I prepared the rest of the cake. Time to whip some cream. Add the 2 250 milliliter heavy creams into the bowl and start mixing. I will do it by hand, but if you have an electric hand mixer, you can use that instead. It will be all fluffy when it is done. Then we will take a new bowl and start mixing the instant vanilla cream. I poured in a half a liter of milk and then added the vanilla cream powder a little at a time to the milk. I used the whole bag, but it would have been enough with only half, so 250 milliliter of milk and 62 grams of vanilla cream powder would have been enough. When it is all mixed together, I also added a pinch of vanilla bean powder for some extra flavor. When it's all mixed together, put the vanilla cream in the fridge. I had to leave mine in the fridge for 15 minutes, but it might be different for the version you buy, so read the instructions on the box to know what to do. While I put in the vanilla cream in the fridge, I took out the marzipan, so it would soften so we can cover the cake later. Let's start putting everything together. Put one of the sponge cake layers on the bottom. On the bottom layer we will put the raspberry jam. Spread it on over the cake, but leave a little space from the edge. We don't want it to touch the marzipan. Then take a small spoon of whipped cream and cover the jam. This will help the next sponge cake layer to stick so it won't move around. Put on the next layer over the whipped cream. Now we will cover that with the vanilla cream that we made before. Put a few spoons of the vanilla cream and add more if you need it. We don't want it to be too thick or too slim. When you are happy with how the vanilla cream looks, we will put some more whipped cream on top. Put a few spoons on top and start to spread it out. Shape the cream so it will get a bit of a height. It is with the whipped cream you will get the round shape on the top. Then the final sponge cake layer. And this is the middle part from the sponge cake, so it is simpler to shape it round. Push it softly on the sides until you are happy with how it looks. I had a low round shape on mine, but you can make it higher if you want. Then a final thin layer of whipped cream on top of the last cake layer and around on the sides. Time for the little tricky bit, putting on the marzipan cover. Put some powdered sugar on the marzipan and spread it out. It will make it less sticky. When you roll, be careful so the marzipan doesn't touch any other part of the marzipan. And put your hand on the bottom of the marzipan. Then I used the plastic wrapper holder to pull up the marzipan, but you can use the rolling pin also. If it gets stuck in itself, it can be kinda hard to get loose. That has happened to me before, and then I had to flatten it out again. Mine was still a little too small, so I had to flatten it out a bit more. Once again, take your rolling pin and roll the first part of the marzipan on it. Remove the marzipan from the baking paper and put your other hand under the bottom of the marzipan and put it on top of the cake. Now we will shape the marzipan around the cake. Put some more powdered sugar on top and on your hands. Then start shaping the marzipan with your hands. Be very light on your hands so you don't push the cake. As you can see, I have an area that is not totally covered. If that happens to you, then carefully pull the marzipan down to cover the area. Then take a knife and cut along the bottom of the cake to remove the extra marzipan. Then finally smooth out the marzipan along the edges and then it is done. If you want, you can make leaf decorations with the extra marzipan. I made a marzipan rose and a few leaves. Hope you will like the princess cake as much as we do in Sweden. Leave a comment down below so I get to know how it went for you baking this. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you click the link down below, you'll get my top 5 baking tips. See you next time. Bye!